Hey, what's going on, everyone? Just wanted to show everyone the new job type business unit configuration. Everything flows identically. Some of these business units, we use the existing ones because the names were correct. Some of them are completely new. All of them match what you see here, right? So for any one location, that's what the first two letters are. So we have Brainerd, BR, MSP, that is Minneapolis, South St. Paul. We have Cape Coral, and then we have Dallas, Fort Worth. Okay. So in Brainerd, electrical service, electrical sales, electrical install. Everything flows the same way. And then, of course, to the right here, we have our admin business unit. Job types are super simple. They are the same across all locations. The workflow is the same at all times. Whenever a call is being booked, you always start with the business unit. Service is simple. This is either a maintenance, a repair. Hey, my unit's not working. Sales, this is where all of our turnovers go. This is where our estimate jobs go when somebody calls and says, hey, we want a new unit, or we want to buy something, right? Install business unit is never front facing. This is only used by Division 4 in production. And that is also the same with our admin business units. Demand service job type. This is any type of demand, service, repair. Whenever a customer calls and indicates that the unit is failing, not working, or not working correctly. Okay. We should never have a repair where we select do work later and this is used. This is only used for an initial visit. Any do work later work always is booked on a service project when we are in reference to repairs. Maintenance inspection, that is any sort of maintenance, tune-up, doesn't matter if they're existing, non-existing, under a contract, not a contract. Any sort of maintenance or inspection will fall underneath of this job type. Recall job type should only derive out of the service business unit, right? So this is going to be whenever there is a repair that was performed out of our 5-star repair packages. What that typically means is the customer purchased a small repair and didn't purchase a larger solution. So this is still counted as an opportunity, as these jobs are derived out of service that's been performed within the last 60 days and is in that 5-star initial repair package options. Service project, again, this is used after a service repair project is sold, okay, and do work later is selected. If we are leaving the customer's house, even if it's to go pick up parts, do work later must be selected. The initial job must be closed out, and a service project must be booked off the sold estimate. If the truck is leaving the customer's house, if the work is not being performed when you are then and there, you must complete the job before your van leaves, before your wheels roll off the customer's property. You need to complete that call, right? And then a service project would need to be booked for the return trip. That's in addition to any time where we have to order parts, any time that we are not doing the work then and there out of the service or maintenance job types. Return visit would always be booked under a service project. Estimate job type, again, is any business unit. Customer calls in, they're asking directly for an estimate or some sort of bid or proposal on replacement, okay? And this job shouldn't really be used if there's not a second opinion needed. So this should typically be a supervisor going out to run this call. Maintenance turnover is a turnover where we need a supervisor to go out there for a second opinion, a supervisor startup, or any sort of a design critical failure. And it would always be booked as a lead in Service Titan off of a maintenance single job. Demand turnover is very similar. The only difference is this is derived out of your demand and service single jobs, right? So the only time we should ever be booking a lead is when we're here and we need a supervisor to come out. That is the only time we would use this lead function. And this is going to fall under Cape Coral Sales. It's going to be a demand turnover, as the initial job was a demand service. Now we have our demand turnover. Those are our two turnover job types. Follow-up paperwork, no sale. This should never be used to follow up with a customer to attempt a sale. Never, ever. There is no sale allowed on this job. This is only when the sales guy is going back out to complete paperwork. There's some sort of client concern. It's never an opportunity. Work has typically been sold already. The job must be booked off the project ID number as a follow-up, paperwork, no sale, and not a lead. To give you an example of that, on this turnover job we just created, let's create some estimates real quick. I will be rebuilding these templates as well soon. The job doesn't sell. What do we do? Now, a majority of the time, or as a matter of fact, in this scenario, let's say the job does sell. Now the job is sold. The next day, the customer calls back. She has a couple of concerns. We need to go out there and address the concerns with the client. We know there's not going to be a sale, and we don't want to count this as an opportunity against the technician. At this point, we would simply click on the project. This is very powerful, the project number. Anytime there's more than one job booked off of any type of other job, you create something called a project number. You're going to click on the project and you can see all jobs here for this specific project. So we have the initial demand and now we have the demand turnover. Now we need to go out there for this follow-up. Instead of booking a lead like most people have been doing, we would simply come into the project number and click book new job. And that is when your follow-up paperwork would be booked. You would go out there, take care of your paperwork, move on as needed. Your return to present turnover. This job is one that has a lot of misunderstanding behind it. I made another short video on it to show you what that should look like in this exact same scenario. Say we didn't sell this and the customer wanted us to come back out there, in a couple of days and talk to them after they can talk to their husband and get a couple more estimates. Not a problem. So instead of booking as a lead like most people have been doing, you always click on your project number. You can see all of your jobs here on the same project. And instead of booking as a lead, you're going to click up here and click book new job. And this is where you would book your return to present job. And your return to present job or any sort of turnover job or say estimate job is always going to fall into the sales business unit of any said service. Right? That leaves us with warranty project. This is only whenever we've done large work. So this could be out of the service business unit, and this could also be out of the install business unit. The difference is this is not for minor repairs. This is the only time you'll see this in the service division, in the service business unit, is when we've done a critical repair. Do work later has been selected. These repairs are typically, $3,000 to $6,000 repairs, right? That's the only time this will be used in the service business unit. It'll never be used for minor repairs. It's not under warranty unless we've replaced a large item, okay? Hourly work, no warranty. This is going to be used to track time for anything where guys are typically paid hourly, or even if it's just to track driving. This is not training. If this is going to be attached to a job, it should always be attached to the project like we just went over, right? So you would book this job off of the project ID, right? So if we needed to run parts out to this job, just say we were out here installing it now. Let's get back to this project ID. We would go to the project like we just were, and the parts runner job would get his hourly work. This can also be used for drive times and other numerous items. It should never include sales. And if this is a technician returning to a job because the original installer or technician did not complete it correctly, it would typically be deducted from their said commission or bonus. Training. This is going to go in whatever business unit is responsible for training said employee. The job is always 8 hours. This leaves our install job types. This is only for production. These are super self-explanatory. We have an HVAC furnace or AC system only, full system only, ductwork only, ductwork and equipment. Now, to be clear, this is a 4-hour job, which is 8 sold hours. That's an install crew, half of day. Full system is a full day. So that's 8 hours of working time, which is 16 sold hours. 1 full day for 2 guys, 1 crew. Ductwork is always going to be an 8-hour job. It's for just ductwork installs out of HVAC. Ductwork and equipment here. That leaves us with plumbing install projects, electrical install projects, water heater install projects, and pool equipment install projects. Simply select for the install whatever division it falls under, and of course our specifics for HVAC. Day 2, day 3, day 4 revenue we will dive into in a minute here. County inspection, whoever's handling permitting, if we need somebody to go out to the job, we would use the county inspection job type to meet up with the inspector. This should always be booked off of the installs project ID as a county inspection job. It should never be booked as a lead or a warranty. Last but not least, we have our admin business units. This is only for admin office purposes. And we have these job types. Whenever we have work that needs to be done internally at an office, it would be booked here. This is never used for customer work. There should never be a sale, and work is typically paid hourly. Office admin use, this is simply to track admin PO expenses. This is not for any sort of employee paid task. This is not for any customer related task. It should never include a sale. This is only for office admin generated purchase order needs. You would book this job out of the respective unit and add your PO. Multi-day jobs. Let's talk about that. I'm going to go back to this initial job here, and let's say that we also sold a unit. All right. Now, whether it's sold separately or whether it's sold together, just say that you know this is 2 days worth of time for your installers. Super simple. you are going to add a day 2 of project task, and you are going to chunk down your revenue. $10,000 per day, and any difference would go on your original task. This is only done by production. This should never be done by technician. You always want the customer to see one sold here. The chunking of revenue purposes is only for us to properly allocate our time and revenue per day, right? So we would have day 2 of project, and then we had to have our initial. Now, if we go back to our original job here, same thing here. This would basically be a day 3, right? And you would book a new job. Now, out of the difference here, instead of adding appointments, you are going to book a new job for each of the said tasks, right? So you would book an install job. This would go into Cape Coral HVAC install, and you would book the job, right? Now, you would go back and you would book the same job type for day 2 after your revenue is chunked down. So depending on how the estimates are sold, always run off your follow-up tab in the production department. Make sure you properly allocate your revenue, $10,000 per day. If you have a sale that includes multiple tasks, you might not have to add multiple days. Whatever it is, make sure we properly allocate our revenue so we can properly measure towards our goal of $10,000 per install crew per day. If there's any questions about these job types, business units, or workflow, please feel free to let me know.